So now that we've verified the audio is working, I guess I'm going to proceed with additional recapping. I'm going to hit this guy right here first. He's 470 microfarads. These are 1000s, and those are 470. So I suspect both these blue guys here are 470s. I've already added a bit of fresh solder on this guy. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the tool to release the capacitor. Kind of. He came out this orientation. I'm noticing here on the silk screen it really doesn't seem to have the positive side labeled, which is surprising. C307. Oh, there it is. It is labeled. So with him out, I'm going to tackle this one over here that I suspect is another 470. And this looks to be which two set of pins? I believe it's those two guys right there. Add a little bit of fresh solder. Well, I certainly felt the capacitor move. Again, it didn't really release. It's jammed up against another cap. Okay, so one side is completely loose. This side is, there it is. And that should be another 470, 16 volt. Those are going to be replaced with these guys. No, these are the thousands. With these two guys, 470. You know, and I'm not following my own rule here and documenting polarity before I remove them. So this guy's going to go here. I don't like the fact that it's going to stand that high up off the board, but it is what it is. It does. Oh, if I can hold on to him. Looks like he comes in this way. Tack one lead, flip the board back over, get them nice and straight, and then I'll tackle the other lead. He's not bad. Actually, he's not bad either. Here. Now there should be two 1000s. I believe I spotted two. Yeah, there's one tucked up here tight, and one over here. One tucked up here tight. With those two set of pins, we'll add some fresh solder. Hopefully make it a little easier to remove. This one's on a large copper pour here, so it might be painful getting that to release. here. Okay, I felt the capacitor shift, so it did melt all the way through. It's loose, it's just a matter of getting him to fall out now. Wow, that's tight. That didn't work very good. Sorry, I know I'm completely off camera here. Wow, I cannot keep the grip on this little pair of pliers. Well, that's shot. Got a bit of lead that's fallen down inside. The negative of this guy was up against the RF shield, and it is marked positive. So the replacement's going to go in this orientation. He does lay up tight against the board. That in place for now, and I'm going to push him up flush to the board. This pin, of course, is going to take some heat. It's on that large copper pour. There's another 1,000 sitting right here. Positive is to the outside of the board. Add a bit of fresh solder. Make sure I've got the right cap here and not the one I just did. First lead did not release well, but the second one did. Let's see if I can get it to... The lead's got a bit of a bend to it. Not sure why that's being so stubborn. But we'll try it again. Try to get a hold of the right one. You know, he came 90% of the way out and then hung up there. I can see the lead wiggling. And that is this guy here. And he's going to sit in right here. Now if I'm going to attempt more of the surface mount, I've got him here, it would be easier to get to him with the cap not actually installed yet. It really becomes, do I dare try yet another one of these? Since I didn't have a lot of luck on the others. You know, they're in, they're okay. The audio works. Got a hot air gun to do it right. I think honestly at this point I'm just going to leave those in, and I hate to say it, call it good enough. They will eventually need to be replaced. this guy. Flush to the board. Positive to positive, positive to positive, positive to positive, and the other one was sitting up in here, and positive to positive. So the 4 of those electrolytics are in correct orientation. I really think at this point I'm just going to make the call to, which I have a heat gun. For working with surface mount, and I've practiced, I'll come back to these. I'm not going to do it now with the soldering pencil. So really, at this point, I don't know that there's a whole lot left to do. I wouldn't mind removing that RF modulator. I just don't need it. And that open port could be used for something else. Whether I can get it to unsolder is, of course, a different question. But we'll put some solder on here. See if I can get these to flow at all. Kind of. I don't think it's required to be in circuit. There's 3 connections that come into it. The 3 look to have been soldered just fine. One of them looks like it's still got some solder down in there, so I'm going to wet up the tip well. Spend a bit more time putting heat on. That lead's released. That one's released. That one's released. They all 3 wiggle. So at this point, I shouldn't be doing this with a hot tool, but I'm going to go ahead and hot swap out the tip here. And this should be the tip with the larger hole that I hope will fit over these. Heat back on. That'll take a second to come up to temp. And really it looks like to me there's just 2 solder connections that hold the metal can in place. And this really should just be released to 2 of those, and if I can get them to desolder, that modulator should just lift off out of there. We'll see if I can pull this off. The tip didn't really fit down over the pin. really know if I can get that to the solder or not. Yeah, I've got no way to get down over it. Tip I wanted. Yeah. Maybe. Well, I felt it move slightly. Why are you suddenly not flowing? I think there's another solder joint involved. Unless there's one right there. Oh, yeah, there is. There's one over here. Making progress. And the RF modulator is removed from the board. See, I don't believe it's needed. The holes are cleared out okay. And something else could actually live in this spot for a connector. So you just don't need it. I think with that, I'm going to put the RF shield back on. You kind of need the RF shield in place. It holds things at the proper height so that the processor card will go on. And we'll go from there. I'm noticing these 4 slots here like there was a can at one time that may have set down over part of this. I would assume for shielding. And as always, the hope here is I haven't actually damaged something. The RF shield. The plastic is still in place. It is hitting that. Drop down in. So I won't bore you with watching me put all the screws back in, but yeah, we did swap out the 4 through-hole electrolytics. Remove the RF modulator, unneeded. The composite video is still here. So I'll put the screws back in this and get it back in the case, and hopefully it'll still work.